Time for our weekly visit with our guy, Eric Dungey, who joins us as always on a Friday. Eric, what is it like with these games? You know, we talked about last week how, man, they just got smacked in the face. What is it like the week after trying to come out of one of these and be ready to go from the opening kickoff in a game like this when you're trying to bounce back?
Yeah, you can't let Pitt beat you twice here. The biggest thing is you just got to wash it. Granted, I don't think we're going to see a worse first half against Virginia Tech than we saw last week at Pitt. So I think, the expectations are low from that standpoint. But I think it's going to be a good bounce back game for Syracuse. And, how do you respond when you get punched in the face? And they got punched in the face and then dragged on the ground at that point. So defensively, though, I will say defensively they look solid. Just offensively, those miscues really hurt them. And, anytime you have, 2 or 3 interceptions, that hurt. But when you have 3 pick sixes, good luck trying to win it back. So you got to tip your cap to the defense. Usually offensively, we're always looking strong, but last week, the offense kind of hurt us from that standpoint. Not the offense, more so just the turnovers.
Yeah, you don't have 3 pick sixes in a half and then win the game. That's just not how that goes. All right, let's go back. Let's see. It's 2024. We're going back 8 years, Eric. It's your sophomore year. Dino Babers' first year as head coach. Right around this time of the year, Virginia Tech, ranked 17th in the country, comes into the Dome, and you guys knock them off by 14. The great celebration in the locker room, whose house, our house, goes viral on Twitter and YouTube and everywhere. Take me back to that day and night, Eric. What do you remember of all that?
Yeah, we just treated it like another game. And honestly, we were pumped up. Anytime you have like a Virginia Tech coming in, and growing up as a kid, that was always the team I would play as an NCAA 14 or, those NCAA games that I wanted to be in so bad. And of course, the year I got into college, they discontinued and now it's back. However, we'll talk about that at a later time. But for me, it was just really cool. Every game you don't need to get amped up for, but Virginia Tech, I do specifically remember that was one that I was just so excited for. I wanted to prove, them wrong and just kind of go against them. And we just played solid. And I think the team, they rose up to the occasion. Syracuse, again, it's kind of, history repeats itself. This is another huge game for them. They have a lot to prove at this game. Big bounce back game, adversity. Last week didn't go the way they wanted to, and they got a tough stretch here. The later half of the season, we were expecting things that, maybe go a little smoother, but Cal looking like a solid team. Boston College, they always find a way, and they're a later half second season team as well. They always play better in the second half of the season, and Thomas Castellanos has proven to be a true dual threat. But they have their own problem this week with Kyron Jones. I mean, this team, Virginia Tech, they can run the ball, throw the ball, and they can make those explosive plays. And then defensively, they're always going to be solid. I think Syracuse, what we have in our favor is we have the 12th man behind us. We have to pack the dome, make sure that we're helping out offensively and defensively, and making sure we're giving the guys support. Because when you do have that crowd at your back, it helps you. You get a little more momentum, you get a little more adrenaline pumping through your body, and then defensively, just make it hard for Kyron Jones to communicate to his guys and disrupt them. If you can get 1 or 2 fouls on Virginia Tech, that would really greatly change the outcome of a game. So big game this week, and I'm just looking forward to seeing how Syracuse responds, especially Kyle McCord.
Yeah, homecoming weekend this weekend, so hopefully a good crowd in there for the Cuse and the Hokies tomorrow. And Kyle said, he told me earlier this week, noon game. I love it. Just I don't want to wait around all day. I've been waiting long enough since last week. I want to get back on the field. Well, what's that idea like of just get back on the field so you can officially erase the memory of that last one?
Yeah, I love the noon games because I was the same way. There was nothing worse than just sitting around the hotel, just waiting, chomping at the bit. For me, I would just sleep all day until kickoff, make sure I wasn't letting my mind race too much. So I love that attitude out of Kyle. He's ready to go back out and prove himself. I mean, he's done such a phenomenal job all season. So last week was kind of just an anomaly, and you gotta feel for him because again, I've been there too. You've had those games where it just feels like everything you do is going going wrong, and you throw the ball up, it gets tipped, batted, and all of a sudden it falls in some guy's hand, or just tip balls are going to the other team. Sometimes it happens, and I think he's got a short memory, and that's what's going to make him great. I mean, that is what makes him great. So he's going to come out this week and not let last week affect him, and he's going to go out and he's going to sling the ball what he does best. They're going to throw it 50, 60, 70 times a game, which is awesome to see. That's a lot of faith in your quarterback there, and a lot of faith in your system, just to make sure that they're moving the ball efficiently. And hey, we can run a 2-yard hitch or a little slant across the middle or a quick out, and that's essentially our run game. I do want to see them utilize LeQuint more and establish somewhat of a run game, because you do need that to be dynamic. If you're just a one-trick pony, eventually teams are going to catch on to that, and especially if the line's not holding up, it's going to make for a long night. So if we can get LeQuint going, take some of that pressure off of Kyle, then I think we're in for a successful night. And if not, then it could be another long night.
All right, we all know what the calendar says right now, Eric. It's November. We all know Novembers around here have not gone so hot the last handful of years. Fran said something on Monday, like somebody asked him about it. He's like, "Yeah, I wasn't here. Like, who cares? What do you make of that idea of it, of Fran being able to like disassociate the struggles there, and how important is it for this team to show they have an ability to close the season strong here in the first year, Fran?"
Yeah, you know what? I love it. Nip it in the bud. It's a new wave. It's a new culture. Whatever happened in the past, that is in the past. And Fran's focused on the present and the future. He can't control what happened then. And, that's maybe it's like the great Bambino, or it's the great curse of Syracuse. Might as well just get rid of it. So looking forward to it. I do think that, as we briefly mentioned, Boston College, Cal, UConn. Even UConn. UConn's even a solid team this year, and then Miami to finish it off. You got a tough stretch here, and it starts with Virginia Tech. So even if it's not injuries that are getting to you, it's the competition of play. The first half of the season, we thought we were going to see better competition. It turns out that the back half of the season, and that's how college football works. Some teams surprise you. Some teams figure it out, such as a UConn or a Cal or Boston College. Again, I have a lot of respect for them. One, they're a rival. Two, they just always figure it out. They're always just a solid team, no matter who they have, and especially in the back half of the season. But it's going to be a tough stretch here, and it's really going through the gauntlet. You got rid of your bye weeks, you got rid of everything else, and now it's really time to bear down. And hey, you're going to be ready for a fight. It's going to be coming to you week in and week out. So make sure that you're ready. And offensively, just have to stay smart, move the ball, and eliminate turnovers, and I think we'll do a good job, because I'm really hopeful and really optimistic about the way this defense has shaped up. Usually defensively, it takes a season or two. They've really started to turn the corner here. So as long as they're playing solid, I got a lot of faith that Kyle's going to make the right decisions to get the ball in the playmaker's hand and put up more points than the other team, because that's really the only thing that matters. And hopefully we don't have to rely on the kicking game.
The kicking game that's been adventurous this season, and that is the most pleasant way to put it. Kyle told me the other day, it's like, hey, and also, hey, no more bye weeks, right? Obviously, they've not handled the bye well for whatever reason. You get into a rhythm here, Eric, down the stretch. How much do you think that can help them out to, all right, now 5 Saturdays, 5 games in a row, nothing funky coming up here down the stretch?
Definitely. I spoke with Gomez about that earlier. I think getting into a habit is the biggest thing. And I know Kyle is probably a very ritual-oriented and habitual player, and he probably likes to prep a certain way. And, when you have a Friday game or a Thursday game or you have a bye week, it really throws off, like you were saying, your rhythm. You get into a good rhythm and going in, you're watching your film, you're doing your rehab, you're getting your extra throws in with the guys after practice. It's nice. And then you come game day, you're ready to go. But when you do have something that throws it off, it can take you a different way. So for them, they just got to stay focused. We got 5 Saturdays in a row. Let's make the most of it. But let's start with the first one. Every week you just got to go 1-0. That's the best mindset to have. No matter what happened the week prior, no matter what's coming up the week ahead, you just got to focus on the task at hand. I know that's the mantra that Coach Brown has been implementing with these guys. So you can tell that they're going to come out, and just something about playing in the dome, man. I just really do think the Syracuse has become such a great place and such a great home field advantage. And I hope fans come out. It's going to be cold. Why not go into a nice little heated dome, watch some good football, and make sure that you're representing and supporting these guys. I think this is the biggest point. We're 5-2. We got a whole lot of opportunity ahead of us, but I think this might be one of the biggest games of the season, and it could be a huge turning point as well.
Yeah, 46 degrees at kickoff tomorrow, so in the dome will be a good place to be. All right, Eric Dungey with us, our weekly Friday visit. All right, Eric, here's what we got going on around these parts today. I'll try to fill you in from the start. So our producer Mike, who you would have been talking to getting set up here a few minutes ago, he has told this story that he was a soccer player in high school, that one day just kind of messing around with a football that he made a 57-yard field goal. This is Mike's story. Paulie called BS on him on this and has now somehow arranged it so 3 weeks from today, Mike is going to go into the dome and try to kick like a 55-yard field goal. Does he? And again, this previous kick was 10 years ago, so he's a little bit removed from his soccer playing career. There any chance in hell that Mike can make this kick coming up in 3 weeks?
You know what? I don't know if it's if we can get it going, or maybe get a little fundraiser going for it, for if he makes it or if he does not. But I will give, nothing against Mike. 57 yards is a lot. I will give $100.
It's really long.
$100 if he can make that field goal alone. That will be. I got to see it though. I want to broadcast it. I need the. I can't have any CGI or any trick photography or anything. I need to see that it's a legit kick here. I would love to see that. 57 yards is a big kick. I can. I thought I was pretty athletic. I had troubles with the 30-yard field goal. So my hat goes off to kickers because it's impressive what they can do. But 57, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, that's far. I believe Mike did play soccer, so I know he can kick a ball, but it was 10 years ago. It's been a minute. You must have kicked the ball at some point in the dome, right? Did you ever boot through a field goal of any distance in there, Eric?
I still say I wish I could have been a punter. I think I could have been a great punter. But field goals kicking was different, and you know what? I hope Mike stretches those hamstrings big time because I don't want to see any torn hammies. I am really looking forward to this. You said 3 weeks it's happening, or?
Yeah. So I think this is at last check, and we're starting to say all this stuff out loud on the radio to make sure we actually hold ourselves to this. Apparently, Paulie has cleared it with Pete Sala at the Dome that 3 weeks from today, the day before the UConn game during Orange Nation, we're going to send Mike out there, plunk down a ball at the 47 and see if he can make a 57-yard field goal in one attempt, too, Eric. No warm up, just go out there and drill a 57-yard field goal.
Well, I am gonna mark my calendar. Then I can't wait to see. I hope this is broadcasted. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, we're gonna figure it out by then, and you'll be on with me a few hours after we have wheeled Mike back here after that and covered him in ice or whatever the heck we're gonna have to do with him. All right, we got to figure out medical plan. There's a lot of planning that's gonna go into this, because the good news is Mike can produce the show mostly sitting in a chair. So after he rips all of his leg muscles, he can still show up to work. I think. I don't know if he can drive, but we'll get him here. I think. I'm
rooting for Mike. I really do hope he drills it. But that will be incredibly impressive off a 10-year gap just to go out and rip a 57-yard field goal. It'll give you a lot of respect for the Syracuse kicking game. It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, 100. I know I couldn't do it. I'm not saying I could make a kick of any, but we'll see what Mike can do. All right, Eric. Thanks as always. We'll add your 100. Paulie's promised 500 if Mike can make it. That tells you how much Paulie thinks it's not going to happen. So we're going to add your. I think we're up to more than $1,000 that people have tossed into the pot today if Mike makes this kick. So it'll be worth his while.
That's awesome.
Man. Enjoy the game tomorrow. We'll talk next week.
All right. See ya.